everybody? As you see up there by the title, this news just came in today, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you who are on YouTube are already reporting it. But it is true. SOPA and PIPA have both been postponed / shelved. We're not just talking SOPA now, we're talking PIPA. Now, I know a lot of people will say that's good news, but we need to further examine the fact that it needs to be shelved completely. It needs to be off the mark. It needs to be gone. History, kaput. But right now, this is good news. Now, how long these shelvings and postponement of both bills will be is anyone's guess. I mean, I can't really say how long it's going to be. Nobody knows how long it's going to be. I mean, it may be a few months, it may be to the end of the election year, which I'm guessing will probably be the more logical attempt by Congress and the House of Legislation to try to get these bills back up in some manner. Now, it is kind of ironic that the day after Mega Upload gets taken off the web by the FBI, which some people are accusing SOPA and PIPA, or the backers of those two bills, being behind. It's kind of ironic that the day after, you got SOPA and PIPA being shelved. Now again, like I said in my previous video, we cannot blame SOPA or PIPA for what happened to Mega Upload. We can't totally put the blame on them. We just got to look at it as an ironic coincidence that occurred. Not saying that the internet blackout helped any, but it seems that the internet blackout did help, to the point that SOPA and PIPA have been, shelved and postponed for the time being. Now again, like I said, it's not like I've said before, I'm not totally surprised that we got these results. I mean, you honestly think, folks, and I've said this many times, you honestly think, this being election year, that Congress, the House of Legislation, the White House, anybody else, do you think they're going to totally focus on this? Do you think they're going to say, let's pass this into law right now and be done with it? No, they're not going to totally focus on it, folks. The main priority, believe it or not, the main priority is to focus on getting our asses back in the seats for next year. That is the main priority. The main priority is to get their asses back in their seats next year. That is the main priority. And the reason it's their main priority is because they don't want to lose the positions. They don't want to lose the money that comes with those positions. That's why I think, not just because of the pressure from people like us, companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube, Reddit, Wikipedia, Facebook, Twitter, and all of them, as well as members of Congress and the legislation and the White House that agree with the fact that SOPA and PIPA are more dangerous in their original forms than what other people like Lamar Smith and Van Helting and Harry Reid are trying to say they are. They're trying to say that they aren't, but indeed they are. So, so right now, it's, smooth sailing, everything's okay. But again, we cannot say it's gone forever. And besides, like I said, the main priority right now is keeping their asses in their seats. The main priority is not, let's pass a bill that could corrupt the internet. That's not the main priority. The main priority, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure their asses are in their seats come for the next 2 to 4 years. That's why Obama, whether people believe it or not, but came out and said, along with other White House supporters, that we're not going to support these bills because of election. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, Obama did say that, but he's only saying that to get people's votes, so that if he gets re-elected, he'll go back on his word and sign them into law. Yes, I believe you. I believe that. I agree with that. Because let's not forget, he did that with the NDAA bill. And people don't like that. And that's what's causing his approval rating, as people put it, to go down the shitter. Yeah, it's going up a bit, but it's also going down the shitter. So right now, SOPA and PIPA are shelved, but for the time being. Like I said, we don't know if they're going to get brought back up after the election year. They might. I mean, you think for one instance that congressmen and the Senate and the House of Legislation members and those in the White House that support SOPA and PIPA, you think for one instant they're not going to look at the new president, whoever it may be, or if it's Obama again, and say, okay, election over, now let's get this going, let's see what happens now. You don't think they're thinking about that? They are thinking about it. And I guarantee you, they're not going to stop until this whole thing is settled one way or another. Now, according to CBS News and a few other sources that reported it today, there has to be a compromise met. Now, that kind of compromise, I agree, needs to be met. And I'm sure anybody else would agree. It needs to be met and it needs to be taken care of. But we don't know what kind of compromise can be made. Honestly, we do agree that the compromise has to include the fact that sites like YouTube, Facebook, Google, Twitter, MySpace, and all those other sites out there, no matter what the bill says, will not be touched or affected. That includes videos on sites like YouTube and Dailymotion that will not be affected or touched or asked to be removed because they're not pirated material. They're under the Fair Use Act. That's what they are. Like say some of my fan vids that I do. You think honestly YouTube would allow those fan vids to go up, whether the comic fan vids or animated fan vids? Do you think they would allow those to go up for people like me? If they didn't have some kind of connection with iTunes, Android Market, and Amazon, you don't think they wouldn't allow that to happen? Of course not. They probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't have the power. But because they got these partnerships with Amazon, because they got these partnerships with iTunes, because they got this partnership with Android Market, eMusic, and they got this kind of agreement that falls under the DMCA Act, the Digital Millennium Act, do you think they would be able to do that if they didn't have all that? Of course not. It'd be kind of like back in 2006 when I first got on YouTube. When I posted a lot of my fan vids that had Sonic X related material, or was Sonic X related in some way, when I went on vacation that year for my birthday and then came back, my channel was gone. I mean, I thought all the emails that I checked up on when I was out in California, which I'm now living in, I thought all those emails were people just commenting on my videos. I go to check my videos as soon as I come back, my channel's gone. You see what I'm saying? Things have changed to the point that now it's not a problem. They give you links to iTunes, to Amazon, to eMusic, to Android Market, even to their own channels associated with places like 4Kids Television and TMS Entertainment. The thing is, folks, do you think YouTube would be able to do all that overall if they didn't have these partnerships? If they weren't under the Fair Use Act? They wouldn't be able to. And that's why I think one of the compromises that will be added into the SOPA Act, if it's still going to try to be passed in the near future, which we don't know or not, because right now it's shelved. Along with PIPA, it is shelved. It is not on the scene anymore. It doesn't have to be worried about. It's on the shelves. Right now, those bills are on life support. They're on life support. And all they have to do now is just pull the plug on the life support, as cruel as that sounds, and that's it for them. Let them rest in peace. But the thing is, folks, can those bills be gone entirely? We don't know. We don't know if they'll be gone entirely. And like I said, according to the CBS reports and numerous other reports, they want to do a compromise to get these bills back on track. And like I said, the only way these compromises are going to be done is if they agree not to touch YouTube or any of the videos on it, to not touch Facebook or any of the videos or links associated with them, the same with Twitter, and the same with Dailymotion. You know, don't touch any videos created or uploaded on there, whether they have music or not, because they're not pirating. Because basically what we're trying to get across, and I know a lot of people would agree on this, what we're trying to get across is what we do on YouTube, Dailymotion, what we post on Facebook, what we post on Twitter, it's not pirating. It's basically sharing. We're not pirating. We're not trying to sell stuff. We're just saying, hey, check out this video we created on YouTube, or this video we found on Dailymotion. Check that out. Or check out this link to this article. I mean, you take a look at the article I'm talking about, the news report I'm talking about. I posted that article on Facebook, as well as on a few Facebook groups that I'm a part of, like MJ Nights, and people have been responding. They're like, am I seeing things? Hallelujah, some are saying. And it is great news, but we're not totally out of the woods yet. They're not totally out of the woods yet, folks, because there's still, SOPA and PIPA are still out there. Right now, they're just on the shelf. It's kind of like, let's say, a wrestler or a sports player that gets injured. They're put on the disabled list until further time, until they're completely healed and allowed to come off the disabled list. It's kind of like when a wrestler gets, an athlete or a wrestler or an MMA fighter gets suspended for 30 days or 60 days because they violated the wellness policy that the company or the league or the organization has set forward, or as an example for the athletes or the fighters or the wrestlers to follow. And that after that 30 or 60 day suspension is over, only then can they come back. That's basically what SOPA and PIPA are at right now. They're not only on life support in some people's eyes, but they're also folks, kind of like in a point of suspension. This suspension, we don't know how long it's going to be until it's lifted. So again, like a guy like Angry Joe has said, the guy that did a recent video yesterday on DSP Gaming, the bad cop and all that, even though this is good news that we got to still keep our eyes out. And we got to keep our eyes out even more so, because get this, I was just on Facebook, which I was talking about, and it seems, according to Wrestling News World, according to a report they got from Theories of Conspiracy, it's a report out of Theories, from an article, I guess, from Theories of Conspiracy, that this is what's crazy. Even though the shelf, PIPA and SOPA are shelved right now for the time being, WWE and UFC, reportedly, according to this Theories of Conspiracy article, according to Wrestling News World and Richard Gray, apparently WWE and UFC support SOPA and PIPA. Now that might not surprise people, but if they support them, you know, yeah, that's strong backing coming from a sports entertainment and kind of like athletic competition area, or athletic related area, sports entertainment, or, you know, athletic competition area. That might be strong support there, but right now, that support may be all for naught. I mean, I can understand WWE and UFC. They don't like the fact that their pay-per-views that they put out every month, whether it's one of the big fours or one of the other ones, they don't like the fact that these pay-per-views get pirated by people for people to use, you know, or not just pirated, but basically placed out on torrents and stuff for people to download for free. I mean, I understand they don't like that because they'd rather have the money. I get that. But again, I thought I'd just throw that out there. But I don't think right now it's going to do any good because both SOPA and PIPA are shelved. But the only question is, how long are they going to be shelved? Will they be shelved for indefinitely or just for the time being? Kind of like I mentioned earlier, like a certain day suspension. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. That's all I'm going to say on it. Comment down below if you like. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later.